So, hi everyone, thank you all for being here. So today we're gonna talk about our journey through AA art and NFTs. So the idea is to get a kind of retrospective of the different artworks and the different things that we have done in the field of AI art, so using AI as a tool. And also in the second part, we're gonna see how NFTs impact our career and the art market that we are in.
Yeah, and so it's the occasion for us to go a bit deeper in what we do, because usually we just show visuals and tell the story. And today we're gonna try to take you in our world. So our story starts with this artwork. So basically, we are three people at Obvious. So one is missing today, and we're all living together. And the third guy, he's like a researcher in machine learning. So he came back home and he tells us, "Okay, guys, I've seen these incredible algorithms." It was back in 2017.
Yeah, 2017. So it was like the very early beginning of using AI as a creative tool.
Exactly. So back in the days, people were just like exploring and creating pictures of cats, and we saw that, and we thought, okay, we could do some art with that, and so we decided to do a series of portraits. So it's physical pieces. There are like 11 of them, and the fun part of the story is that Christie's contacted us to sell one of these artworks. So this one, and it was sold for nearly $500,000 as the first type of the first artwork of this type to go through a main auction house. So it was kind of a big moment. We were doing that for like I don't know, 6 months, so kind of crazy for us.
Yeah, it was the very beginning of our career. It was totally crazy because it was very difficult to see what happened back in the days, but now we can see that with few times. It was this artworks was a very big milestone in terms of creating art with machine learning and getting it's accepted by the traditional art market. So just to go a bit deeper on this artwork, basically we took GAN's algorithm, so generative adversarial networks. They are algorithms that you give them a lot of images. He understands the common feature of those images and recreates some. So basically, we did that with 14,000 portraits from the 14th to the 20th century. And from there, what we do is the algorithm generates a lot of images, and we select 11 of them to create a series. And in those 11 was Edmond de Bellamy. So it was the very, very beginning of our career.
Exactly. So after that, we continued to explore different art movements. We did a second series on Japanese prints, so on ukiyo-e artworks, and we made 22 artworks, so 11 portraits and 11 landscapes. And the idea is that with this series, we pushed it a bit further in terms of production, and we talked with like a manufacturer, like a guy who's really like deep into craftsmanship of this type of artworks. And we had this picture created by the algorithms. We kind of split it into 8 wood blocks, and then the final artwork is created by kind of a lithographic process of putting a paper on each block, and each block makes a color. So, and we made one of the artwork the traditional way.
So during the first series, it was a bit like a candid approach because we didn't know anything about the art market. But for this second series, it was in 2019, so 1 year after, we tried to do one series each year. So for this second series, we wanted to push further. So to push further, as Gauthier said, on the production process, using traditional production process and use them even if we create art with machine learning. So the idea is to merge two worlds. This is something that you're gonna find always in our work, merging the traditional way to create art with machine learning, merging the art market with the NFT space, merging the old and the new. So this is something that really matters for us. And just for an example, when you're working on a subject as an AI artist, you need to be the creator of the algorithm. And to do so, you need to learn about the subject you're dealing with. So for example, we did a lot of research about Japanese prints, and to know if the algorithm worked or not, you need to know a bit about Japanese print, you need to know the codes, you need to know the story in order to select cool things. So, for example, here is a geisha. And we select it because in the kabuki theater, the traditional Japanese theater, you have always three characters. You have the good guy, the bad guy, and the woman. And so when you select, you come back to those research and you try to match them. So this is the second series that we created.
Absolutely. After that, we created the third series. So we went like all in on the physical part. And it's a series of 22 African masks that we created together with a craftsman from Ghana. And so we worked together with him. So we kind of have an iterative process with the algorithm because we try many things and then it comes back to us. We make some modifications. And it was really interesting to do it also in the real life because we had this visual. Then he starts creating something and we're like, okay, it should be more like that. And then we ended up with these 22 physical pieces.
And just to get back to what we do, because we are like traditional contemporary art artists, we did an exhibition in a gallery, like in a white cube, with all those images, with those artworks, sorry, with the images that were generated. So the idea is to match the codes of the traditional art market, even though you are like a ovni in the art market field. And to go a bit further, this is something that we're gonna showcase in the future. So what you have seen in the three previous series were artwork creating using GANs, so the algorithm I talk about. And for this series, we change our tool. We choose to use text-to-image algorithm. So you have maybe seen such tools became very popular with DALL-E and Midjourney, those kind of algorithm. So this is tools that we use for a long time, and we wanted to like do a series with that. So what we did is that what you see here are the gardens of Babylon, one of the seven wonders. The thing with the seven wonders is that we don't know it. The only thing that's left are the pyramid of Gizeh, but all the seven wonders that you know, all the imagery that you have seen, are based on text from the antiquity, from Herodot, from those traditional guys. So what we did is we work with an art historian to find those texts and feed them to the text-to-image algorithm.
Exactly. So of course it didn't actually look like that, but it's like kind of the algorithmic view of the Seven Wonders, and so this will be released as a physical series with like also probably an NFT side.
Just a word about that. Something that is kind of interesting is on this series we're going to talk about. The prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is when you talk to Google, for example, you don't put full sentences. You take like keywords that make your research very effective. And to work with a text-to-image algorithm, of course, you do not put full sentences. So basically, you have a new language to talk to your algorithm, exactly as the way you talk to Google, in order to be creative. And this is what we gonna talk about in this series, is the new language you have to talk and to create art with algorithm.
Exactly. So all of this that we did in the kind of the traditional art world, it asks kind of a lot of questions, and we received a lot of questions, and we also like to ask those questions. So, for example, can algorithms be creative, or are they just like inventive? Where does the artist stand? I mean, if you work with like a tool that can create by itself, is it the artist, or are you the artist? So we kind of came up with the answer to that, of course.
And a lot of broader question and broader interrogation like drive us, like for example, how people react to art created with AI, how people see you as an artist because you're using machine learning algorithm, what people think of AI and why people think AI gonna replace you. So all those questions are like things that drove us, and we're gonna try to answer those questions that we ask in our series. So if we come back to the African mask, what we did in that series is we asked the concept of AGI. So AGI for people, when I say AI, for a lot of people, they see Terminator or a numerical cousin, you know? And when I talk about AI, I talk about machine learning, which is a software computing program. And because people use the same word for two different concepts, you have misinformation. And we think that this is why you have a lot of like clickbait article, or you have like a lot of misunderstanding, because people are using the same word for two different types of concepts. And this is what we try to express in that series of masks, which think that people try to believe in AGI, try to believe in that numerical cousin, which is only science fiction. There is no such thing in the scientific area. So we compare that to a myth. We think that people that think in AGI is something real are kind of driven by traditional mysticism, and we compare that to the African society myth. So this is what we do in all of our series. We also work with AI as a tool, but we also brought a sujet about AI and how we as a society react to it.
Exactly. So for our second series, for the Japanese series, we were just right after the auction, and so we had like all these reactions to our work. Oh, they created something with AI. It's not really art. It's scary. It's interesting. Everything. And so we took everything from that, and we made this comparison with like the appearance of electricity in traditional Japan, and it corresponds to the period where the artworks we used were created. And so we created this map where you have like all these characters who have like a different story about electricity. So some of them will be like really into it. Some of them will be very traditional and will stay back from this innovation. And so it was for us kind of a way to tell our reaction to all the criticisms that we had regarding AI.
Yeah, and the third part, I'm gonna come back to our first series, and during our first series, the question was, can an AI be creative? Are you the artist, or is it the AI the artist? And in that series, we try to showcase that AI is just a tool. It's a tool in the end of us as a creative, and this is a tool that we use in order to showcase messages, as we just did. And to do so, back in the day, we created a family. As you can see, Edmond de Bellamy, which was sold at Christie's, is the last one of the family. So the idea is to create broader concept for people to dive in stories, to be interested about the use of machine learning and AI in a broader way. But the story that we just told you today is our parkour, our way in traditional art markets. Those series are only physical artwork. There is no such thing as NFT. And you're gonna ask us why you didn't talk about NFTs. Because NFTs is for us something that is really important, but we don't consider that as the center of our approach. NFTs, and more broadly digital, is the way we express ourselves in a different medium, but we compare that and we try to merge the 2 points. We are not only NFT artists, we are not like traditional gallery artists. We try to merge the both.
Exactly. So our story in NFT starts with Super Rare. So Super Rare, as you probably know the platform, they contacted us back in 2018, and they wanted us to participate to their beta because we were like some of the few doing AI art at this moment. And so, of course, we said yes. We were really interested. And so, what you can see here is actually the first artwork we minted back then. And so,
eighth artwork on the platform. It's the eighth artwork on Supera. So yeah, from the very beginning, we are in that NFT space.
Exactly. And when we create NFTs, we also try to keep like the same approach that we have in art. So we try to invent a story. We try to have some deepness, and the idea is not just to send out visuals and and see if people like it.
Yeah, to be a bit more precise, we try to focus only on NFT art. We are not that much on PFP and collectibles. We did a project that we're gonna showcase to you, but most of the time we create NFTs as unique pieces, and we try to have a story as we just tell you like that. And what we did 2 years ago is something that really matters to us. We did this series of 3 portraits in order to make a link with our first series of portraits, because we were contacted, sorry, by Kamel Menor. For those who don't know Kamel, he's one of the greatest gallerists in the world. He represents artists like Anish Kapoor, so he's really like a traditional art guy. And it was an honor for us to be contacted by Kamel in order to do his first NFT drop with us, because what we love to do, as we said, is the bridges between the two worlds. And we think that opposing the two worlds is not that interesting. What's interesting is to take the best from the two worlds to create just one. So this is what we did.
Exactly. Another thing we did, and I think you've heard about Braindrops before. So we also were contacted by Braindrops to do a drop, and we created. So this is kind of our equivalent for PFP, but every artwork is unique and kind of handmade. So it's a series of dreams and nightmares. So we combine text generation algorithms. So you type, for example, yesterday in my dream, and it's going to complete the sentence. We combine that with text-to-image algorithms, so other algorithms that take the text and create an image. And with this combination, we managed to create dreams and nightmares using only algorithms. So it's a series of 1,000 artworks, and as many of the Braindrops drops, it was a success. So it was sold in 2 minutes, and yeah, so we're really happy, and it managed. For us, it was like the occasion to reach out to a lot of new collectors, so a lot of new people who discovered our work. So it was really a great opportunity.
So when we go through our different NFTs and our positioning in art, at the, I would say, at the meeting point of traditional art and NFT art, a lot of questions are asked. Like, for example, how we keep the NFT vibe of the early days in the traditional artwork, and we try to avoid speculation. How we connect those two words, etc., etc. And this is question that we try to bring to people, that we try to ask ourselves, and we try to answer. So the first thing we did, so for example, for the Braindrop the Braindrop project, yeah, thank you. So we did an exhibition in Paris with the dreams in a like white cube, and the nightmares in a like underground basement of Paris. So the idea is, even if you do a collectible project, we will try to put rewards that match traditional artwork vibes. So for example, we created unique artworks for one of the collectors. We created all of the rewards are connected to the art world, and we try to create a community around that with the merging of the two. And what was very nice is that, for example, the girl you see here is the very famous art collector from the art world, and she was there at our NFT at our NFT exhibition. So the idea is also to do that with your art collector, with the art critics, and with all the ecosystem.
Exactly. And so with our collaboration with Kamel Menor, what we try to do is really to like combine those two words, because we think that like traditional galleries, they also have a role to play in the NFT space. Of course, they're interested in it because they see it from afar, and they're like, okay, what's happening there? They have to stay up to date with the latest trends. And so what we think is that we really want to onboard gallerists, and actually we're going to enter a gallery, we're going to announce it really soon. And the idea is really to take them into our world, into the NFT world, and we think that both worlds can benefit one from the other, because they have like a really good knowledge of art and we think they can be really strong as curators in the NFT space.
And Camel is just one of the examples that we show you, but you have seen maybe recently that the Centre Pompidou in Metz just bought some NFTs. You have a lot of institutions that jump into NFTs, and we think that in the next few years, this will be the time for people who have like a true A for art criticism and for institution to embrace the market, because in the traditional art market, as an artist, it's an honor to go in those places, and we don't see why in the future those places wouldn't be a place that matters for the generative art, for the AI art, and for the crypto art in a broader way. So this is something that really matters for us.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it's we only had 15 minutes, so it's really hard to go through all of our work. But here you have like an overview of what we did on Super Rare. And so we invite you to come have a look at our work, give some feedback, and we hope you'll like it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.